Despite the fears of its use, CPR is still the best means of saving lives, and everyone should know how to perform it. As I just mentioned, CPR is something that's really easy to learn, and it's something that sticks with you for years to come. Something so simple saves so many lives a year. I want to give you a few facts of why my persuasive speech is that everyone should learn how to give CPR. Obviously, CPR saves lives. However, CPR is not performed enough. About 22 or 23% of all cardiac arrest victims receive CPR before EMS arrives. If everyone was trained in CPR and was able to give CPR before EMS arrived, that would lead to more saved lives. There's about 383,000 cardiac arrest victims per year. So if only 22% receive CPR within adequate time, that only leaves about 298,000 that didn't receive it until EMS got on scene. That's so many lives that could have been either saved or began the process of recovering back what they lost before permanent damage occurred. A couple things people say when they don't act in a critical situation when someone has cardiac arrest is they never received training, or they are scared of giving mouth to mouth. Well, the good thing about mouth to mouth is I actually keep two different brands. I keep a Gauss CPR mask and a Dynamed CPR mask. The Gauss looks like this, and the Dynamed looks like this. They're only about $5 to pick up one, and what's good about them is they have a one-way valve. It means you can breathe air in, but if the CPR, if the victim that you're performing CPR on was to regurgitate or start breathing back, it would never come back in contact with you. The actual mask, the Gauss mask, this is what it looks like. This right here is a one-way valve. It's got a little pink thing in there, you can't really tell, but that's where your mouth would actually go, and you would, if you had to use the breathing technique, that right there is where you would breathe. The mask fits over the patient's nose and mouth, and once you place it down and put pressure on this mask, it forms a seal. So you're actually helping out a victim. The second, my favorite mask, which is the Dynamed mask, it's actually a two-part system. The mask itself, the valve, inside here is a part of the one-way valve, but here's the whole one-way valve, and it slides on like so. If you look right here, that yellow you see is another part of the one-way valve. Up under the yellow is actually two air ports, so they can breathe in. It hits this rubber seal, pushes the air back out down through those two open ports right here. You can swivel this if you needed to get a different angle, but it fits the same way. Like I said, they're only like $5 or $6. You can pick one up at any medical supply store and just keep it in your vehicle. Say you were at Walmart shopping and someone fell out and was having cardiac arrest. It's a lot quicker for you to run or walk out to your car, grab your mask, come back in and start CPR before the EMS arrives, because sometimes it takes 8, 10, 12 minutes before CPR gets EMS gets there, depending on how far out they are. What was surprising to me, the number has actually declined by 2%, which is cardiac arrest at home, which is 85% of all cardiac arrest happens at home. Meaning, if you are CPR certified, you can speak from experience. Most of the time, you perform CPR on someone that you love, which gives me another point on why everyone should know how to administer CPR. If it's your child, your loved one, your spouse, your family in any way, friends of any way, if they're at your house and something was to happen, you would feel rather bad. So if you was just to go ahead and take a 2-hour course once a year and learn how to properly administer CPR, then you could save that life of someone you really cared about. There are two types of CPR. You have hands-only CPR, and you have rescue breath CPR. Hands-only CPR, if you look down on their chest and you can still tell that they're still getting air, all you're trying to do is get that heart back in rhythm. What you want to take your hands, place them on the chest cavity right here, and you want to press and try to get the chest cavity to press in about 2 inches. In doing so, it jump starts the heart, gets the heart back in rhythm, and you want to try to maintain about 100 beats per minute. Once the heart gets back in rhythm, you kind of want to roll them over onto their side. That way, if they do regurgitate or if they're having issues breathing, then you're opening more of an airway, plus you're getting it so they don't choke on their regurgitation. Now your rescue breaths is a little more technical. You want to make sure the airway's open. You basically just take 2 fingers, place them on their chin, and lift on their chin until you form a straight line from their mouth down the neck, opening their airway. You give 2 rescue breaths per 30 compressions. Same thing on the compressions. You want 30 compressions at about a 2-second compression rate. You want to try to get the chest cavity to be pressed in about 2 inches, and then 2 rescue breaths, 30 compressions, 2 rescue breaths, and you want to keep this up until you get the heart rhythm back and you get your victim breathing. That's where these masks are really helpful. That way, if they do regurgitate as soon as they come back consciousness, then it doesn't get in your mouth or on your face. Once you get them back to going, you just want to roll them over on their side, keep them from choking on their regurgitation, and just monitor them until the EMS gets there. Like I was saying, 85% of cardiac arrest happens at home, which is roughly about 4 out of 5 cardiac arrests happen at home. Another good fact is that the leading cause of accidental death for children ages 1 to 4 is actually drowning. One of the things that helps out a child or adult when they are in the process of drowning is, 1, get them away from the source that they're drowning in. 2, go ahead and start administering CPR. You start administering CPR, then you get them jump started. When the EMS gets there, the EMS can go ahead, get an IV started, get them on the stretcher, and from the stretcher to the ambulance, from the ambulance to the hospital, and everything's already in the jump start rolling on the right direction. So that's why it's so important, is because it saves lives. Proper administering of CPR actually triples a victim's survival rate. That is great. Only about 33% of all cardiac arrest victims, whether it be at a store, at home, in the neighborhood, someone you know, only 33% of that whole 383,000 that I talked to, only 33% actually receive CPR from a bystander. Instead of just someone standing and watching what's going on and just calling 911. Yeah, call 911, but then as soon as you tell 911 where you're at and get the ball rolling for them, go ahead and start administering CPR if you're trained, And that when this, you could have them breathing and back on the right path before EMS even arrives. One big number, only 8% of victims that are having cardiac arrest actually survive, and only 8% out of 383,000 is terrible. The reason that 8% survive is because 7 of it is at a hospital. So we, as Americans, it would really benefit us to learn CPR, each and every one of us, and administer it if ever needed. If not, you got another tool in your toolbox enabling you to effectively help save someone's life. One easy way of everybody learning how to do CPR is like in high school during a health class. Instead of teaching 9 weeks of sex ed, split it up. Teach some sex ed, but teach some CPR. CPR is only 2 hours to be certified, 2 to 4 hours, depending on if you go through the Red Cross or if you go through the American Heart Association, which that's what I've started going through, is the AHA, because that's what the military supports and that's what my fire department supports. Both of them very similar. Maybe a couple changes here and there. I was Red Cross certified when I was working for the prison, and then AHA certified as soon as the military decided to start supporting them. So it's been back and forth, but both of them are almost identical. So you're not losing ground here and gaining ground here. It's all the same material, just a different logo on the car when you get it in the mail. A couple techniques I want to go through is actually techniques aiding and assisting the EMS once they do arrive. Once they do arrive, if you don't want to help at all, just step out the way, free up the area, and allow EMS to do their job. If they need help and you can help them, most of the time it's either just stabilizing the head so no neck or back injury occurs, or either they stabilize the head and hold the head still and just need an extra pair of hands to help lift. Lifting techniques in EMS, firefighting, military, all the same. They're going to say 1, 2, 3, ready. Ready is the preparatory command. Lift is the command of it, the execution command. When he says lift, you lift simultaneously, allowing the head and back and neck to stay stabilized and not taking any sudden movements. And then he's going to give you the same command. Ready, drop. Don't drop them. That's one of the jokes they have in the military, is when they say ready to drop, don't just let go and let them fall. But it just means lower your victim down on the stretcher or on the caddy, so that they can get them to the ambulance, and the ambulance can get them to the hospital, so the necessary precautions can be taken, enabling the victim to survive. I believe that something as simple as CPR can save hundreds of thousands of lives a year if everyone knew how to just give up 2 hours, 4 hours tops of their time, maybe one Saturday, one Friday evening, just so that they can save a life. It's not a guarantee. You may never use CPR, but you have that tool if you ever need it. I've had to administer CPR 3 different times in 5 years, and those 3 times made a difference. If I can make a difference, so can you.